In this session, we will learn about if and else clause and conditional flow. Many times in code, we have to deal with conditions. Conditions simply tell that if it is true, execute this code and do this task. And if condition is false, execute other code. To check the condition, we use if and else clause. If keyword is followed by condition. If the condition is true, it executes the body of it. And if it is false, it simply executes the body of else. Suppose we have two variables, x and y. X is assigned value 20 and y is assigned value 30. Now we want to check whether x is greater or smaller than y. So we use if else here. In if clause, we have applied a condition that check whether x is greater than y. If it is true, print x is greater than y. And if the condition is false, execute else clause and print x is smaller than y. There are many conditions that you can apply. Greater than, less than. To check if values are equal, we use double equal sign. And to check if values are not equal, we use exclamation followed by equal sign. Now let's write some code to get better understanding of conditionals. In this example of if and else, I will create two variables. Then we will check whether variable 1 is greater than variable 2 by using if and else clause. So let's make a variable x and assign it a value 20. Let's make another variable y and assign value 30 to it. Now I will write if clause and a condition whether f is greater than y colon, and then I will print x is greater than y. And in the other case, if it is less than y, then else print x is less than y. Let's see the output. As you can see in the output, it says x is less than y. Because we know 20 is less than 30. So it didn't execute the if part here because x was less than y. Instead, it executed the else part which says x is less than y and printed the statement. Now let's swap the values of these variables. I will store 30 in x and 20 in y. And now it should print x is greater than y. Let's see the output. As you can see in the output has changed. Now it says x is greater than y because the values have been changed. So we can use these if and else conditions. If we want some code to be executed after certain condition is fulfilled, we will write that code here in if part and other code in the else part. Remember that indentation is very important here. Indentation means the body of if will be placed after some space, which indicates that it is a part of if. Now if I remove the space from here, now as you can see, if and print are on the same line and it started giving error, indent expected. You can see the warning, it is saying indent expected. What it means, it requires us to place a space here to indicate that it's a body of if. And similarly, if in else case I will place the print statement in the same line of else, it will again say error. So I have to give some space after that which will indicate that it's a body of else. So in Python, indentation is followed in every case where we have a body of any certain code. In case of if else, we have the body of if and body of else. As you can see, x and y are not a part of if and else, so they can be on the same line of if and else. They need not to have any space behind them. But this print statement is a part of if clause, so it has to have some space after if clause. And this print statement is a part of else clause, so it needs to have some space behind it. This indentation is followed in Python. That's all for this session. You can try making different variables and applying if and else clause on that. Many times there is a requirement to check multiple conditions beside only if and else. For that we use another clause elif, which means else if. By using this command we can provide multiple conditions. As you can see in this example, where we have two variables x and y, and we want to check whether x is greater than y, or it is less than y, or it is equals to y. So to achieve this, we will use elif command. In the first condition, we are checking whether x is greater than y by using if keyword. Then next, instead of using else, we are using elif, which checks whether x is less than y. And in the third condition, we are again using elif to check whether x is equals to y. We can use elif as many times as we want. Now let's write some code. In this example of elif, we can use our code of if and else, where we created two variables x and y and check whether x is greater than y or it is less than y. Now I will replace this else with elif. As we know, elif requires a condition, so we will give a condition if x is less than y, and we can add a third condition as well, which will check whether x is equals to y. To check if x is equals to y, we use double equals to sign. So we will print in this case that x is equals to y. X is equals to y. So now let's run it. It says x is greater than y, which is correct. It executed the if part here, which says x is greater than y, and left the other two elif parts. Now we will just make these values equal and we will see the output. So x contains 20, y also contains 20. So now it should execute this last part, which says x is equals to y. Let's see. Yes, it says x is equals to y. So it executed the last part and left these first two parts. So what it does here, it checked the condition of if x is greater than y. It was not correct, so it left it. Then it checked the condition if x is less than y. It was also not correct, so it moved to the next condition. Then it checked that whether x is double equals to y. And it was correct, so it printed x is equals to y. We can also use if, elif and else together. What if I remove this last condition and use else here? It will also work, because in this case we have only three conditions. That x can be greater than y, or it can be less than y, or that there is only a third case that x is equals to y. So if these two conditions are not true, it will move to the else part, which is the default part. Because we know if x is not greater than y or it is not less than y, the only case left behind is that it is equals to y. So let's run this code. As you can see, output is same. It says x is equals to y. So it executed the else part. The benefit of doing this is there will be a default case and else will always be executed if other two failed. But if we have elif here and the condition failed, it will not execute the body. We can also apply if and else on strings. So let's quickly write an example of string. I will make a variable name which is equals to Hamza, and I will write a welcome message if my name is equals to Hamza. So I will write if name is double equals to Hamza, print welcome Hamza, and I will have a else here, which will print unknown. So I will run this code and we will see the output. As you can see, it compared the string Hamza with the variable name, and it was same, so it printed welcome Hamza. Now if I change the name, to Alex, now it should print unknown. As you can see in the output, it printed unknown. It applied the condition on string as well. So we can have different variables and try different conditions on them. using if and else. You can write different multiple examples of these by your own, so this will make your skills stronger. That's all for this session. Let's move to the next session.